baby. Baby. That was timed a little too perfect. That was not intentional, but it was pretty goddamn impressive. Hello, Max Ankar. What were you doing in Idaho? You went to Idaho. Fuck you, Captain Hogwash. Welcome to the Gabbin' in the Games. It is Friday, I don't know, it's some month in January 15th, 14th. I don't fucking, it's the 15th. Fuck off. Listen to me. 5 days left till we have a new president, we hope. Max Ankar's back from Idaho. That's the big news of the day. Today is a Fuck It Friday, Free Chat Friday, whatever you guys want to talk about. Obviously, I got some topics lined up. If the well runs dry, zing! That was not a sexual double entendre, but I almost made it one. And then I said I'm not going to do it because I'm a classy fellow. I hope you're all well. I hope you're staying COVID-free. Upvote Bandit, who had the COVID. Now, I'm going to give you a warning. In the chat right now, he says, I think I'm about to be 100% over COVID. I don't want to scare you. But everyone, I don't want to say this. I hope you're right, Upvote. I hope you're right. But everyone, no. Okay, give it right back to me, though, because I have a timer set on it. Everyone that I know who has had COVID has this experience where they think they're about to be over it. And they're like, oh, I'm on the mend. And then they say it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. The second thing hits you hard, and they say that's worse. Rob the Mod says he might be having the COVID. So just, hold tight, Upvote, but I hope you're right. I think that would be fucking fantastic news. Benny Blanco from DeBay says, hey, Jaffe, Scott Pilgrim game is available for physical pre-order today. I understand that. I actually bought it the day it came out on digital a couple of 2 days ago. I talked about this a little bit yesterday on the stream. I don't really understand the fascination with this game other than it's one of those kind of psychological things where you want what you can't have. And so somebody came in. Oh my God! Oh my God, Sarah! No, I can't hold on. Someone just subscribed to the Diet Soda Soldiers, Sarah. That means, no, not wow. That you have to understand his name is Nano. Can you welcome Nano to the...
Nano, welcome to the Diet Soda.
A little louder. Let's do it again in action.
What is it called?
The Diet Soda Soldiers.
Welcome to the Diet Soda Soldiers.
That's my kid. She gave a speech today on why she thinks capitalism is horse shit. Where are you going with my phone? All right, will you shut my door, please? And she gave a speech on why she thinks that capitalism is bullshit and democratic socialism is the way to be. Nano, it's good to see you, buddy. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. I appreciate it very, very much. Welcome to all the goddamn members and all the folks in general. What are your thoughts on CD Projekt? Wait, what was I talking about, though? I want to get back on track. Then I'll answer your question. I always do that, and I don't mean to. What were we talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Scott Pilgrim. So I'm playing Scott Pilgrim. And yeah, it's the thing you can't have, Benny Blanco. It's like I played it and there's nothing wrong with it. But this last year, in the last 12 months, I've played Streets of Rage 4, which I really liked. I played River City Girls, which I adored. I played Battletoads, which I know, I really liked the new Battletoads. It wasn't amazing, but it was a fun game to play on Game Pass to pass the time. In terms of sort of what it was about, it was like, like 7 out of 10. Total fun, just whatever. I didn't think Scott Pilgrim, from what I played, was better than any of those. It was fine. Is the difficulty for Pilgrim really hard in the beginning? I thought, I don't know if it's really hard, but I was surprised that I did not make it out of the first city section without dying 3 times. But I don't know if that's because it was hard. I think it might have been more just because it's kind of basic compared to what I've been trained to play on things like Streets of Rage and River City. So there's actually not a lot you can do in terms of mechanics, or maybe I think you have to unlock them. So at the beginning, it really is kind of like kick, punch. It's all in the mind. Kick, punch, jump, kick. There's like 2 or 3 other moves. And I was just like, wait, what? I can't. So I'm fucking around trying to do stuff and I'm getting my ass handed to me, but it's not bad. It's beautiful looking. It's absolutely beautiful looking. Senior Jaffe, do you think the initiative working on a new Perfect Dark will do justice to the ambition and level of innovation of the original? I have absolutely no worry and no fear about the initiative and no fear about Perfect Dark. The only thing that's going to get in the way of that game being a really good game is what limits Microsoft and or their management stylings put on that company, or their inability to manage an internal team, meaning I don't know who their producer is, but they have a great pedigree of people. So and they have the funding of Microsoft. So there's no reason that game can't be fantastic. I absolutely thought their reveal trailer was stupid. I thought their reveal trailer was misguided. I think you have one chance to make a first impression. And guess who is talking these days about Perfect Dark from the initiative? Nobody. Because, they dropped the goddamn ball. But that doesn't mean anything. The title can still just be fucking amazing, and I'm looking forward to it because that team is a really good team. Are we playing? Okay, we do have game night coming up tonight. We are going to be playing Wreckfest on the PS4, PS5, and we're going to be playing Call of Duty. Not Warzone though. We're going to be doing Call of Duty Cold War multiplayer. It absolutely did come in second on the votes. I know Smash came in first, but I didn't remember that there's also a single player, and I have a free copy of it because I got a buddy from Activision, and I wanted to stream the single player, and I don't want to give Activision any of my money because they support China way too much for my taste, so there you go. So we will eventually do a Smash stream, but tonight is Wreckfest, and tonight is Warzone. Jaffe says, Abad, by the way, I'll respond now. You sent me a super chat, not a super chat, you sent me a direct message about your career. I'll get to that. Jaffe, considering all the delays, do you suggest me buying the PS5 in 2021? I mean, I don't the delays? What delays are you talking about? I think anyone who buys a PS5 or anyone who buys an Xbox Series X, maybe an S, I don't know, is going to be happy. I love both of them for very, very different reasons. Somebody said this recently online, and I think they're absolutely correct. This is the first time I've been gaming since the first home consoles, even before Atari 2600. It's the first time I can remember that all of the major consoles really do seem to offer something different. It's clear that the PS5 is, it's a great system to play everything on that they have, but that's the exclusive box. That's where you're going to get, if you love those kind of games, that's where you're going to get the best and the brightest of that stuff. Xbox, we'll see. Xbox may become that because goodness gracious. I mean, look, you go to Vegas and you start putting chips down on roulette and you're like, I'm going to put chips down on every single fucking number on the goddamn table. You're going to win. So, I mean, with all the shit, all the studios they've acquired, even if it's just by fucking luck, they can't help but be lucky to have some amazing first-party titles this generation. But right now, the Series X, I think, is more impressive because of its ecosystem, because of Game Pass, because of Quick Resume. It's fast. There's just a lot of fun stuff to play from various generations. I love that box to play everything other than Sony's exclusives right now. And then the Switch is its own fucking thing. So it's good stuff, man. It's whatever you buy, you're going to be happy with. But I'm not sure what you mean by the delays. What are your thoughts on the medium? I am getting a Soul Reaver vibe. I am on the fence. I mean, I will get it because, again, it's Game Pass. I'm going to try it. Why would I not try it? But I'm on the fence because that team is very hit or miss. They've only been on once, but they were on brilliantly, which was with what's the goddamn game with the painter? The goddamn Layers of Fear. But Layers of Fear 2 wasn't very good, and Blair Witch Project wasn't very good, which means I don't know if the first was a fluke. Who knows? But I can tell you that I'm excited because I love horror and it looks like a really interesting premise. So we will see where it goes. Anthony says Series X is good for casual gamers that don't care to finish games. That's horseshit, and you know it's horseshit. Sarah, tell him it's horseshit. Sarah says it's horseshit. Don't fucking argue with the girl. Now listen to me. Oh, hey, good point. Owen says we need another siphon filter. I got word right before the stream started that the fellow who was the creative director on Days Gone and the Siphon Filter games is going to be coming on the show. It's not going to be until later in the spring because he's writing a book and he's editing a book, but it'll give me time to play the game because I haven't played it, but I hear it's really good. Rob the Mod says one of his favorite games. And he's going to come on the show and, oh, shut up, Captain Hogwash, you old shitbag. He's going to come on the show and we're going to have a good conversation about video games. We're going to have a good conversation about Sony and the creative process and all kinds of shit, including Days Gone. We're going to dive deep into Days Gone. It'll be fun. Brian King says Series X is for people. Hang on, I got to sneeze. One moment. Holy cow. Holy cow. Oh, I'm allergic to Hogwash's bullshit. Series X is for people, says Brian King, who like to look at a game for 5 minutes and go back to Netflix. It's just not true. I have been playing this shit out of, I finished Gears Hivebusters the other day. Max, are you still on? Did you play Hivebusters, man? It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's fun. I played that. I've been playing, oh my God, you guys. I finally started playing Doom Eternal. On the Xbox X. I know you're fucking around, Brian. I finally started playing Doom Eternal on the Xbox X series, whatever the fuck it's called, Series X. Boy, that's something. I know. I was like, no shit, Jaffe. We've been telling you forever. I've been busy, you fuckstick, but it's great. Oh my God, is that who I think it is coming over the hill? Mary Lou, it's Ricardo Estevez. He's about to pop his cherry behind the barn with the cow. Let's listen in to hear if we can hear the cow moaning when he puts his pee-pee in its vagina. I don't hear it yet. Oh, it's coming. Oh, here goes Ricardo. He's about to do the deed. Come on now, Ricardo. Come on now. Oh, there you go. Ricardo Estevez done become a member of the Diet Soda Soldiers, baby. You know I appreciate that, you old so-and-so. Listen to me, Ricardo. That means tonight on our game night where we're doing Call of Duty multiplayer and we're also doing Wreckfest, you get priority seating as a member. It also means this Sunday, I don't know the time yet, we're doing a double feature movie show, whatever the fuck it's called, just for members only this time. We're doing Evil Dead, and after Evil Dead, we're doing Battle Royale. We're doing both of them. The only way you can get into that gosh darn virtual motion picture house is to be a member, which means you, Ricardo, and you, Nano, are two of the most recent folks who can get in there. And hopefully I'll see you over there this Sunday. I'll drop a link for the details. Wolfblood says people out here acting like Sony gives them commission to say negative things about Series X. I don't understand it. I don't really understand it, man. I mean, I'm not going to get into it. You know what I think? About all the console war stuff. It's ridiculous. It's fucking moronic. Let me explain something to you. Here is the way you know console wars are stupid, and anybody who's really serious about console wars is not to be taken seriously. Because you're either a child, which means you don't have a job, which of course you can have opinions about things like that. You're a kid. But if you're an adult and you actually are in a console war, what that means is you're either emotionally stunted or you literally are so, you don't save your money or whatever that you're not talking about buying a Ferrari. It's a fucking console. You might have to save up for it. I'm not saying everybody's just got thousands of dollars lying around, but save up for a little bit and go get both of them if you're a real fucking gamer. Jesus fucking Christ. Eddie Torres says his friend died in the console war. Well, I'm sorry about that. That is tragic. That's another problem with Trump. Now, listen, Johnny Charisma says, what character, thank you for the super chat, pal. He says, what character do you hold dear more, Kratos or Sweet Tooth? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It is kids. Johnny, I know you just dropped some ducats into the bin, and I appreciate it, bud. But there is absolutely no way to answer that question. They both are aspects of my personality, just like I imagine they're aspects of Scott Campbell, Corey Barlog, Max Ankar, Ken Feldman, all the people who worked on this stuff, we bring our own essence to these characters and to the games and things like that. And there's no way to really answer that question. Well, Bukkake Drive-By is in the chat. He wanted to come on in and saunter in here wearing his pantyhose and nothing else and say, oh, I'm going to give Jaffe a hard time. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It's Friday, so who cares? Not that I work at a job that I have to be worried about Friday, but Friday's still pretty fucking nice. Hey, WandaVision, what'd you think? Did you guys watch WandaVision? I was up way too late last night watching the WandaVision. Fuck you, Dixon Cider. Dixon Cider, who do you think you're talking to, bitch? Let me tell you something, Dixon. Dixon Cider was in here yesterday being a total dick to me, and I didn't ignore him because I don't like trolls. I ignored him only because I was busy with other chats that were more compelling. And now he pops in here trying to be my pal. When are you going to play some FIFA? When am I going to play it? When I'm done fucking your mother, bitch. Shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. I'm only partially kidding. You don't have to shut up, but I am going to fuck your mom tonight. Anyway, the point is, Dixon, I'm not really a FIFA player. The last time I played his Peapod's still not back. I don't know. The last time I played FIFA was at my nephew's house. He's a big soccer fan, and I played it over there, and it's just way too complicated for me. Yeah, no, Hogwash, yes. Episode 1 is like I Love Lucy. Episode 2 is like Bewitched. I thought it was very interesting. The only thing I will say, and I'm not going to spoil anything, was that it felt a little bit, and I'm glad it's not more than 8 episodes, because I like that they're getting to the meat of what it is. But in some ways, I wish they would have teased it a little more subtly, but I'm not going to tell you what they should have teased, because you need to watch it yourself. But, hang on. It's fucking, hear that? Hear that? That's fucking dog, baby. Fucking dog. I'm never going to be without dogs. I'm never going to be without pets, but they totally act up my asthma like a goddamn son of a bitch. Point being, though, is I thought WandaVision was really cool. It was really clever. It's really interesting. I can see a number of people kind of say, that's not what I expect, because it's so not a normal Marvel Universe thing. If people came to it expecting, and it might go this way eventually, but if people came to it expecting a big action WandaVision going on missions and killing bad guys, it's not that at all. And I think that's great. I mean, I think it keeps it fresh and interesting and cool. So I'm very excited by that show. I really, really liked it. Echelon drops super chat. Thanks, sir, as always. He says, hello, Jaffe. I think Cameo and Max the Curse of the Brotherhood would be great next generation reboots for Xbox, if done properly. I don't even know what those are. I know what they are. I've seen them on my Game Pass window, like get Mac Curse the Brotherhood and get Cameo. Is Cameo the girl, the Cameo Spirits thing or something? I don't really know anything about, I don't know anything about those games, though, so I will trust you as a fellow gamer, sir. And you know what I'll also do is I'll play those games now that I have them on Game Pass. But I haven't played them. But thank you for the super chat as always, Echelon. I appreciate it, buddy. Bukkake Drive-By dropped super chat. He says, this is Dr. PP. Make sure you check your poo-poo. Okay, I have to tell you something. I appreciate that, pal. Let me tell you something. So I was fascinated by this, and this reminds me of what Bukkake just said. Right, Cameo was a launch game. That's right. Who disliked the video? Hogwash did. Every time his dumb fat ass comes in here, he has to hit dislike every single fucking time. Every single fucking time. Anyway, listen to me. So the creator of the throat lozenger died last week, and they had the funeral yesterday, and it was a very weird funeral because there was no coffin. Huh? Zing! The reason I tell that joke is dumb jokes like that delight me. Like Bukkake, all he has to do is say, this is Dr. PP, make sure you check your poo-poo, and I got a grin a mile wide. I think stupid shit is funny. Fuck you is my point. Do you think India has the potential to make a AAA game? I'm from India. This is, I appreciate the super chat, sir. This is from Swampnil Lamchur. Am I saying it right? Lamchur. anyone has the potential to make a AAA game. It really comes down to budget, comes down to ambition. I will tell you, I played Raji, which was a game I know that was steeped. I mean, it wasn't even steeped. It was Indian culture. It was like, I mean, you would know. I had never heard the tale before, but it's kind of like a cross between the first God of War and a little bit like Eco, maybe. It's and it got a lot of press, and it was like, this is one of the first big games from India. Oh God, Dixon, you're such an asshole. You and I gotta be honest with you, it wasn't great. It was not a very good game. It had a great story, and it had a really cool visual aesthetic, and it had a really cool intellectual property in terms of like, there was amazing iconography and shit everywhere, but the combat was really unsatisfying, and the monster design was really not compelling. And so, but I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that it's from India. I just think maybe they don't have a lot of experience, and you would know more than I about what is the development community for video games like in India, and why is it that we don't see a lot more games coming out from India that are AAA style. We talked a little bit about the Hero project yesterday that Sony is kicking off for China, and we're already seeing some pretty compelling prototypes coming out of that initiative, where they're trying to get Chinese developers to jump onto console development for PlayStation now, because PlayStation is actually for sale in China, where forever it hadn't been. So I don't know. I think certainly for sure they could break through an Indian developer. Why not? Clip Commander says, Jaffe, I just played Twisted Metal Lost levels the other night. Thank you for playing our game. 6 members of the team didn't really die in a plane crash, did they? They absolutely did. No, they did not. They did not. They did not. Here's what happened. I'll tell you the story. It's very brief. I'm literally sitting out in Utah at Mike Badger's desk. He was the weapons programmer. And me and Scott are sitting there. Scott Campbell, the co-director, co-designer, we're sitting there and we're just like, well, we got to put something on this story page here. What do you want to put? And it literally, I don't know if I looked out the window and saw an airplane. I don't know what kicked it off, but it was literally like, let's just fucking make this stupid fucking thing up, and let's totally really just play it up and never admit that it was a lie. And that thing, you know, hell, there you go. I still have people asking me probably every, month or two, did people really die? Goodbye, Kevin Moore. Good to see you, pal. Did people really die in the plane crash? No, it was a total fucking lie. Total fucking lie. Was it your decision to make Sweet Tooth shirtless and have a beer belly? Yes, it was. Jaffe, will we see the EA Star Wars deal end early, or will it be honored till 2023? And Lucasfilm is announcing the projects early. I don't have any idea. I think that I think that the EA deal. Look, if I'm Lucas right now, unless there's stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't know, Fallen Order was really fucking good and well received. I think it did pretty well. And Battlefront 2 has become a much more really revered and played IP after getting off to a very rocky start. Even to the point that this weekend, by the way, Xbox, I don't know if it's only Xbox, but I know it's on Xbox, where they're giving away, you can basically play Battlefront 2 all weekend for free. If you don't have it, you can download it and play it. And apparently it's so popular that it's crashing a bunch of the fucking servers right now. So, I don't think, and again, unless there's some crazy shit going on behind the scenes, I don't think that Lucas Arts or Lucas Games, whatever they call themselves now, have any reason to not work with EA anymore. But I do think it's smart that they are branching out and, working with other developers and publishers as well. Yeah, and Battlefront is also free, says Bukaki, on the Epic Game Store right now. Yes. Do I get nervous during interviews, says Eternal, about your games, or did you get used to it? It's a bit different than talking to the screen. No, it was honestly one of the most fun things to do. And a lot of times I would go into interviews for video games and they would say, okay, here's what we're going to talk about. And I was like, do not tell me what we're going to talk about. That is so fucking boring. If you say, okay, I'm going to ask you this, and then I'm going to ask you this, then we're going to talk about the I mean, no, don't fucking do it. Let's just talk. It's just like this. No, I always enjoyed it. Jaffe, I want to ask you, hang on now. God damn. I want to ask you, how can you find so many unique games like Pumpkin Jack or your second favorite game that I don't remember? Well, because I am a PC gamer primarily these days. PC games, this is what I rave about on the PC. Console's great. Console's got things you can't get on PC. I get it. I'll get that super chat in just a second, sir. Console's got stuff you can't get, but PC is where the really interesting work is happening at a game design level. So whether it's Steam, like I found Unpacking, which is my second favorite game of last year, because when PAX rolled around, Steam did a show floor at PAX, and there were hundreds of demos. And I made a video about this, and very few people responded to it. But I just, when I've said this before, when you used to go to E3 before all the games cost $150+ million, it was like Christmas morning. You didn't know what you were going to get. Every turn of an alleyway, in terms of the alley made by the rows of the booths, what you'd get a surprise, like, what the fuck is that game? When you go to PAX now, because there's a lot of indie games there, it's similar. E3, of course, is not that way anymore. So, but the problem is you have all the lines, you have the travel, it's hot, you get tired from standing in line a lot, This is brilliant. And Steam does this 3 or 4 times a year. They just did it recently with some other event where they literally just say, here's a shit ton of fucking demos. Here's a shit ton of games that you've probably never heard of. We'll curate them all in this little list called the Spring Festival or the PAX Show Floor or whatever. And you're just like, oh my God. I also go to websites like Rock Paper Shotgun covers much more indie games and stuff. So that's kind of how I find them. And I love them. I love those kinds of games. PC makes it easier, says Alexis, to find indies. Twitch Prime and Epic Game Store give away a ton of them. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. There's super chat just dropped from Ricardo again. Oh, Ricardo, you just joined, buddy. I appreciate that. Goodness gracious. Could Bethesda games be a Trojan horse for Game Pass on other systems? That's interesting. Plus, enjoyed the blast from the past I posted on Discord. Oh, yeah. So you were a journalist and you put a picture. That was I was 40 years old that night. They got me a cake and everything, but we were doing a Twisted Metal event in Los Angeles, and that was up on the second floor of some bar we were in. They had the Sweet Tooth truck there and everything, and I was interviewed upstairs mostly by international press, of which I'm assuming you are one of them or a photographer, because that's where that picture is from. I did enjoy it. Could Bethesda games be a Trojan horse for Game Pass? So what you're saying is, could Game Pass come to PlayStation? Is what I mean. Technically, I'm sure it could, and I would imagine. I mean, that's a really interesting test of Phil Spencer's logic, or his statement of, we don't really. I mean, we love consoles and all that, but we're really about as many people that can play our games wherever we would be happy with. So. It's a great, I don't know. I mean, I think it certainly could be, but I honestly think if I was Microsoft, a better play would be to put it on Game Pass and not put it on, or to put it on Game Pass and then put it on Sony for $70. And it's going to make Sony look terrible, because people are going to say, are you shitting me? There's a brand new Indiana Jones game. There's a brand new Elder Scrolls. There's a brand, this fucking space game they're doing. Goddamn, I'll tell you what, man, playing Doom Eternal and just imagining, as much as I love the Doom, hell, I like the Doom universe more than Halo, but imagining that team making a fucking Halo and saying, hey, you want to play this? We'll even put it on Sony's machine. Not a problem, pal. They won't do it, but you're going to pay $70 for it. It'll make it totally look amazing, the Game Pass deal. So they have so many ways to play that Game Pass strategy that they have, because they really are ruling the roost when it comes to subscription services right now. And I'm sorry, I get there's a lot of Sony fanboys that I talk about or I talk to, and I appreciate that. I consider myself a Sony fanboy as well. But I have so many people always hitting me up saying, well, PS Now's better. PS Now's just as good. No, it really isn't. I mean, it's subjective, but end of the goddamn day, I have PS Now. I have a year's paid off of PS Now. I barely touch it. And that doesn't mean it's bad because I barely touch it. And it's not bad. It's just that it has really old shit. They put like 2-3-year-old games on there. They act like they're doing us a favor when Sony says, hey, Uncharted 4 is coming finally to PS Now. First off, it's a 2.5-year-old game, maybe older. And they say, okay, we'll drop it December 20th. It's going away January 15th. You have less than a month to play it. It's like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. So, no, it is not the same. People are like, well, Xbox Game Pass has all these old games. No, it doesn't. It does have old games for sure, but it's got all the first party stuff, but more importantly, it's got a ton of third party day one drops on Game Pass. If you actually think it doesn't, you're not paying a goddamn attention. Always about Game Pass, says Immortal Black. Fuck you, Immortal Black. You know what? It's not always about Game Pass. The guy asked about it, you schmuck. Listen to me. Bacon Magma says, is it true that we banned Peapod? No, we didn't ban Peapod. I was, I had a conversation with him on stream yesterday. But no, I wouldn't ban Peapod unless he did something awful. I was calling him out like I call everybody out who's being kind of a pain in the ass, but that doesn't mean nothing. I'm a pain in the ass sometimes too. Johnny Charisma comes through. He says, Jaffe, I'm going to give you some ducats, but you got to read my question. And I'll do that, sir. Here you go. Johnny Charisma says, Ubisoft should remake Assassin's Creed 1 or 2 like Capcom did with RE2. There's no question mark. He just wants you to know that if he ran Ubisoft, that's what he would do. I don't agree with you. I think you're simply wrong, sir. And here's why I think you're wrong. Because those games you have gotten bigger and better and brighter versions of that formula in something like Valhalla, right? Or Origins. The idea of going back and remaking the first one or the second one, which to most people, the only reason you would be going back would be to tell the story again. But the story has gotten so fucking convoluted anyway that I know very few people who are going around worrying about and wondering about, I can't wait. I mean, I didn't play Valhalla more than about 4 hours, but I assume, does it also deal with that fucking past life shit? And sometimes it goes to the fucking future and all this shit and you're wearing the headset. Is that still happening in that world? I mean, so I think the only reason to go back would be for story reasons, and I don't think the story is that revered. I could be wrong. I think the gameplay has advanced enough that people would go back and go, this isn't satisfying. And I was fascinated that Valhalla, I'll bring this up real quick. Valhalla was the number 3, I think. Let me show you this. The best-selling game of the third best-selling game. Here's the list. Call of Duty Black Ops number 1, Cyberpunk 2077 number 2. A lot of that was pre-order. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I mean, this franchise, as much as they milk this fucking franchise is still every goddamn year making these guys massive amounts of cash. Number fucking 3. Now, this was interesting because I had a prediction, but thank you, Johnny Charisma, for the super chat. I appreciate it, buddy. I had I'm reading the chat. I had a prediction that Last of Us did not do as well that's December. Hang on, let me get you the year. Best-selling games of the year. Valhalla is 5. Okay. So I had a prediction that The Last of Us did not perform as well for Sony as they wanted it to. And I saw this doesn't mean anything to me, the fact that it's number 6. But what does mean something is I saw Sony came out and they said Last of Us Part 2 is now officially the third most lucrative game when it comes to sales in our history. Last of Us Part 2. Spider-Man's number 1, God of War's number 2. My favorite character's number 1. A character that I was intimately heavily involved in creating his number 2. How's that for a legacy, bitches? I want you to bathe in my glory. Enjoy the essence of me. If there's any ladies out there, I'm single and I'm looking to mingle. What if you went to a bar and you said that? Can you imagine? No. Can you imagine if you went to a bar and you said that and a woman actually fell for it? She was just like, I didn't like you at first. I thought you looked like a fucking troll, but now I want to fuck you. Anyway, the point being is, so it's done better than I thought. I still don't think it performed where it needed to, but whatever. That's great. But what's really interesting is if you go to the downloads, though, the downloads, it's flipped. Ghost Tsushima digital download has done better than The Last of Us, which I just thought was interesting. This is America. FIFA's number 1 there. Call of Duty's number 1 here. So you can get this list all over the internet right now. If you like stuff like this, which I love stuff like this, just to kind of get a sense of, what does well, why, what territory it does well in. This is kind of all over the internet at this point, and you can find it. Okay, let me go back to our free chat, shall we? Let's check the news. Let's check the news and see if Trump's still in office. 113 hours left, people. 29% approval. I'm going to tell you something about this shit that's going on. This shit is crazy, man. The stories that continue to come out about what happened on the 6th are très incroyable. It's insane. The fact that now they are saying that there were a number of organized people that went in there. Hogwash says 29%, not bad. It's better than I ever got a test in school. A number of people went into the Congress with the intent to assassinate and or capture and torture Congress people. Think about that. That's insane that we live in a world where that is happening in our goddamn country. Amazing. Ethan says all politicians are corrupt. I don't understand people that idolize any of them. Well, I don't think most people idolize politicians, at least not when they're alive. And I don't think that they're all corrupt, but I certainly think the system is stacked in such a way that if you want to be effective, you absolutely have to play in shades of gray, which is terrible. You have to basically do shit that you don't like and vote for shit that you don't like in order to get the political capital in order to allow you to vote for or create policy that you care about more than you care about voting for the thing that you didn't like. And that's terribly unfortunate. Okay. Trump almost has enough impeachments on his punch card to get a free sub sandwich, says Logan. That's pretty true. That's pretty funny. Oh, Jaffe. Bacon, shut up, you fuckhead. Jaffe, nobody was planning that. They would have had firearms. Well, some of them had firearms, you dumb fuck. And also, all you have to do, all these people are being dragged up into court right now, Bacon Magma. If you actually knew how to read, you could fucking read the stories of the court hearings and proceedings that are happening all this week in America. And a number of these stories have come out because in the court, evidence has been presented from message boards, cell phones, things they were caught on video saying that they were claiming they were going to do this. There was AOC did a live Instagram the other night, and she was basically saying, I can't go into details about what happened to me, but she's like, I came very close to being murdered that day. Okay, that's not, she made it clear. She says, I'm not talking like in the general sense. There was a situation that happened that we're still investigating, and they thought I was about to lose my life. Okay, so I don't understand, Bacon. I don't understand. It'd be impossible for that protest to not contain some psychos. Yeah. For the most part, though, it just seemed like a bunch of misguided meme lords. Maybe it did, but they broke the law and they went in there and they tried to kill people and hurt people. I'm happy to get into politics or I'm happy to stay in games. It's free chat. I'll jump around. You ask me questions. You bring up topics you want. I'll talk about them. I'm not going to steer this any way that you just tell me what you want to talk about. Feeling sad for Mario, by the way. Trump has been impeached twice. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, Trump has been impeached twice. You feel bad for Mario. That's a good one. That's a good one. Jaffe, they found houses of Mitch and Pelosi. If they wanted them deceased, they'd be deceased. You seem a little Oh, shut up, Bacon. You're a fucking moron. Okay. Joe Biden will mysteriously die in a year or less. Kamala will be president. She might. He's an old fucking man. He's going to die at 68 mysteriously. How about he's going to die just because he fucking died because he was 78 goddamn years old? Talk about food. Be specific, sir. Be specific. America says Metallic has a double standard. If other countries would prosecute protesters, oh, you moron. You moron, you moron, you moron, sir. You know I love you, but you're a goddamn moron. No one's prosecuting protesters. Protesters have a First Amendment right to protest. I would defend, as much as I hate a lot of these people, I would defend their right 24/7 to protest. But they don't have a right to break and enter, hurt people, kill cops, destroy property, steal things, vandalize buildings. That's when they go from being protesters, which I totally support, to being criminals, which is the same thing with the BLM movement. The BLM movement was primarily peaceful. But were there people who broke the law? Yeah. And should they have to deal with the legal ramifications? Yeah. Do I sympathize with the people who rioted in the Black Lives Matter movement? I do, because I would do the same thing. But I would also still expect to face the full consequences for my actions. But riot's a riot. A law you break is a law you break. Bobby Burns, Bobby. I'll give anybody $1 million. I really won't, if you can tell me where that quote is from. Bobby, I'm only going to deal with Bobby's point because it just shows how fucked up we as a country are regarding our news. Okay. So Bobby says Black Lives Matter peaceful. Get the fuck out of here. Go the fuck home, or whatever it stands for. Now, I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to get into politics. This is more about media. I'm going to tell you why that fascinates me, because I was glued to the internet. I was glued to the television. I was glued to the news, watching the protests, the George Floyd murders, all this stuff, the Breonna Taylor stuff, the marches all summer long. And I didn't just, anybody who follows the stream knows, I don't just follow MSNBC. I go to Drudge Report, which is a very right-leaning site. I do watch Fox News specifically to see how the other side, which sucks, but there you go, reports the news. The vast majority that I saw of Black Lives Matter were absolutely peaceful protests. Were there people that in that group, whether it was BLM or it was Antifa or there's other theories, but it doesn't matter. Were there absolutely people who broke the law? Of course. 100%, of course. And no one, I'm certainly not supporting that, even though I sympathize with that. I understand the rage. If you're talking about because the Black Lives Matter movement, not just because I just want to watch the world burn movement. But I saw mostly peaceful protest. And you're saying, Bobby Burns, that is crazy to you. You're saying Black Lives Matter, peaceful, get the fuck out of here. You and I drink from a different well when it comes to where we get our news. And that's tragic. That's absolutely tragic that we can't depend on the news to tell us the truth. And let me give you a quick example about this. So when I was watching this summer, there was Fox and Friends that kept talking about Portland and saying, they were painting this picture that Portland was a war zone. It was buildings were, it was like the LA riots. Buildings are on fire. People are dead in the streets. Windows are broken, blah, blah, blah. And then I had a buddy who posted on Twitter, Twitter has like 4 picture limit. He's like, I live in Portland. I'm downtown right now. This is what I'm seeing. And it was totally normal, happy day in Portland. Well, it wasn't sunny. It was raining, or it was overcast. He's like, yeah, is that happening? Not to that degree, and it's happening in a very small area of Portland, which is totally cloistered off, and it's really, we're fine here. How are you? But if you only watch Fox News, you would be forgiven for thinking that all of Portland was burning and on fire. So again, I don't have a monopoly on truth, and you don't have a monopoly on truth. The thing that should concern us both, Bobby, is that you have different news than I have. And I'm not arrogant enough to think that my news is right and your news is wrong. How would I know that? How the fuck would I know that? The Last of Us has a new director, says Joe. I was going to make a video about this and I chose not to, but I'll talk to you fine folks about it. Again, this is free chat fuck it Friday, so we are going from whatever the fuck. Like Hogwash is just saying Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out 2 months earlier, which means what? When is that coming out? Mortal Kombat will be coming out in April on HBO Max, and I did see the images today. I'm waiting for a trailer because I would love to know what the fuck it's really about. I want Sonya in it. They didn't show. I want Katana in it. They didn't show any of the ladies. They just kind of showed, karate dudes and shit. But anyway, yes. So The Last of Us lost the director who did Chernobyl. They just brought on the director. I forget what he did, but he's got a good pedigree as well. The only reason it's a little newsworthy, because that happens a lot, is how many times did Uncharted lose their director? Probably 7 or 8 or 9 times before they finally were able to go forward. And now here's their second big project, and they've lost Beanpole, right? He directed that. They've lost their director on their new big project. It just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, is PlayStation Productions part of the problem? Like, do they not know how to deal with creative talent from that world? Is it the fact that, the studios, be it, I guess it's all Naughty Dog because they have Uncharted and they have Last of Us. Are they just being really like, no, we want it our vision, which isn't bad necessarily. And when a director comes in, they want to apply their vision, and maybe the director's like, fuck it, creative differences. I have no idea, but it is interesting. It is very interesting to me that this is the second time we've seen. They're basically, they've only had 2 shows they've talked about. 2 projects. Both projects have lost directors. One of them lost 10 fucking directors, give or take. This is their first one. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. If they start losing directors off The Last of Us, we'll know something's going on that somebody should dig into. It might be the case that these directors simply don't understand the appeal of the games. Yeah, I mean, it absolutely could be. Yeah, it doesn't have to indicate the projects are in trouble. It may indicate that PlayStation Productions is doing a great job of going, you know what? We're going to do this right. And if we start to find that the director is really not vibing with what our property is, we have a clause in the contract that says we can say goodbye. When we did the God of War contract with for the movie, I forget who it was with, and I don't want to say who it was with in terms of the production company, because I don't want to be throwing, it's probably, I shouldn't tell you who it was. It doesn't matter. It was in the press, but regardless, there was a clause in there that said we didn't get to pick the director. That was the studio and that was the production company, but we absolutely got to refuse the director. So if they came to us and said, we want Uwe Boll to direct, we could say, yeah, no, that's not happening. But what we couldn't do is say we demand that Steven Spielberg direct. So Halo is being shot right now, Wolfblood. Wolfblood says, I remember when Steven Spielberg produced a Halo series. What happened? I don't know if Spielberg is still involved, but I know that they are shooting it, and they released the guy who plays Master Chief released the first image of him holding the helmet the other day, which I think is interesting now, because in some ways The Mandalorian sort of got there first with like, who is this mysterious guy under the helmet who's like a badass? And that's always been the thing with Master Chief, right? So suddenly now I'm wondering if they're having to pivot, or if they're like, well, I guess we're telling kind of a similar story, at least regarding that aspect of the story. My casting for a live action Kratos I mean, now these days, I'd probably go with Jason Momoa, probably, because he's got the build and he's got that sort of intense masculinity and aggressivity about him. I'd probably go with him. Bacon, do you feel people under 16 should be charged as adults if the crime is very cruel? I've just seen a report where teens were involved in a rape and the death of a woman. I don't know, man. I mean, I can tell you the only thing I know is that scientifically speaking, the brain is not fully developed until you're like 25. So I honestly don't think kids should be able to fucking drive till they're adults at 25 because, the decisions that they make are not fully baked, and we're giving them the keys to fucking, multi-ton vehicles that can kill people. So the idea of trying a teenager as an adult, especially a 16-year-old, my initial gut says no, I don't think they should be tried as adults because they're not. But I think that maybe, I don't know if you could do this constitutionally, and I don't know if you would want to do this, but I almost feel that the parents should take some of the fall for it if they've raised their kids in such a way that they will go out and do such heinous crimes. But I have no idea really what the current science is on it or anything like that. Will Activision ever make a new IP, says Swapnil, apart from Call of Duty? I want to say they just did. Didn't Activision has Apex Legends? Isn't that Activision or is that EA? Activision has Call of Duty. Who bought Respawn? I always get that mixed up. Respawn was originally EA, and then it went to... EA owns Respawn. Okay. So Activision has Crash and Spyro and Call of Duty. I thought they just made something kind of new. I don't know. Adam Sandler is Kratos. There was a time where if he wanted to make it, they would have given it a green light. Hello, Gino. Good to see you, pal. Caveman says, what job in the game industry do you think doesn't get enough credit for what they do? I mean, all of them, really. But, hello, Michael Myers. I would say... Excuse me. I would say... maybe producers. Producers have a lot of, they get paid well. They have a lot of authority on a team. But it is really hard to make a game. I can't stress enough. And I don't know if it's even possible to express in a meaningful way unless you've actually been on the team yourself how hard it is to make a video game, because not only are there so many moving parts, but the moving parts are all interdependent and they're all so different. And they're not only so different, but the types of people that excel at those different parts are different. So the person who's a great programmer has a very different set of social skills. And I don't mean they're like, not social, but they see the world. It's like when you go to law school and you begin to see the world through the lens, even if you don't want to, of thinking like a lawyer. The good programmers kind of go through a very similar thing of seeing things almost more like in extremely logical. It's like data or something, the character data. And artists and design, artists tend to be much more out there, creative, what have you. And then designers, depending on the designer, tends to be kind of having their feet in the middle. Marketing is a totally different thing that the development team has to deal with in terms of we need a demo or we have to show this off or we have, their demands that are based on them trying to promote your game affect production. And those folks are very different. The marketing folks are really usually the good looking, popular kids in high school. And they went into marketing, and they're good people. But that's, if you remember those kind of people from high school, they're kind of the same. They're idiots. They're not, but they're very surface. They're very polished. They're very much about politicking and all that shit, right? So the producer has to come in there, and the producer has to figure out why or how in the fuck I can get all these people to work together on a project that is, at least if you're performing, with a large crew all over the world, many hundreds of people. How do I get it done on schedule? How do I get it done on budget? And how do I actually make it work where it's not a buggy mess because all these people have such different jobs? It is absolutely a massive undertaking. And I don't think, and people shouldn't, just like I don't know how hard it is to perform brain surgery. I'm sure it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of talent. But people don't know how hard it is to actually make a game, especially these days, these big AAA monstrosities. It is absolutely crazy. Rushel. Is it Rushel? Can I call you Rushel? Can I call you Rush? Rush, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. He says he's got to go. Had a fun time. Have a great day. You too, sir. See you soon. To tell the story of Ragnarok, the character's justice, there's no way Ragnarok will be released this year, says Johnny. I mean, it might. I don't know when they started working on it. It's possible they knew they were doing a sequel well before the new game came out, or the last game came out, and they broke off a team of like 15 people, and they started working on it based on the technology of God of War 2018 prior to the release of God of War 2018. But I don't know. But I absolutely am with you in the sense that I don't think it's coming out this year. I think it's coming out in next year. I just do. I think God of War's always slip because the team demands the best in breed, just like Naughty Dog. And they have the cachet to get it, and they have the intellectual property, which is valuable enough to get it. And they have the history of going, look, we can release God of War anytime, and it'll make you... what did I see God of War made in profit? They made Sony $500 million. I think that was what it was. So I think if they want more time, they'll get more time. If Max is still watching, he could tell us. He won't, but he could. Seeing Shannon Studd still talk about her sacrifices on raising Kratos stock was touching. I could see the sadness on her face. Well, part of that's movie making. I mean, I'm not saying it was a lie. I'm just saying, I hope you're aware when you watch documentaries, especially documentaries about production, movies, games, whatever, the people who make those documentaries, it is in their best interest to pick and cherry pick the moments that will be the most powerful. And I know this because I've done things like that before, and I also know it because my brother worked at a reality TV company for a while, and these guys, he said, would break into applause and high fives when they shot that Toddlers and Tiara show, I think. And he says whenever they got a kid to cry on camera, they were like high-fiving and like, oh my God, we got great fucking footage, right? So I'm not suggesting, though, that Shannon did not sacrifice. Absolutely, she sacrificed. The whole fucking team did. But just be aware when you're watching stuff like that it is manipulative in order to get you to feel a certain way. But that said, though, yeah, I mean, it's exceptionally hard. And Shannon had done it numerous times. And she wasn't even the main producer on that. That was Yumi Yang, man. Max Ankar says, I'm working as fast as I can over here. Leave me alone. That's right. That's all Max. That's all you're going to get from Max. Let me tell you something. If Max ever gets bored of being in video games, this motherfucker should be like a Secret Service agent, because the fucker is as loyal as the day is long. And he's a big motherfucker too. You can't, out of everybody who I've ever known at Sony, Max would be the last guy I would ever expect to spill the fucking beans. It is so annoying. I'm like, Max, give me some dirt. No, I won't do it. And then he puts on his makeup and goes out on the town for tea. It's crazy. Corey's looking tired, says Jay. Santa Monica is no sleep. I haven't seen Corey in a while. You have to ask Max if he's looking tired. She was right beside Yumi, and she didn't look sad. Only Shannon looked sad. I'm not going to get into people's personal lives, but let's just say a lot of people on that team, through every game, they crunched, they sacrificed a lot. Absolutely, 100%, no doubt. But so yes, if your takeaway from that documentary was making video games is really difficult and it comes at a personal cost, some people's personal cost is substantially more, that is an accurate takeaway of making video games from my experience, 100%, regardless of the scope. Shannon left after God of War, says don't be scared. So I think God of War maybe really took a toll. Yeah, I know exactly why Shannon left, and I can't speak to it, and I won't. Thoughts on the Ragnarok 2021 release window? Well, Ethan, we just talked about it. Ragnarok, there's no way Ragnarok's coming out. I mean, there's a way. I don't fucking know, but I'm pretty sure it's not coming out in 2021. I think it's coming out probably in March of 2022, which is the end of fiscal. And that's usually when titles that are supposed to come out at Christmas get pushed to the very limit, which is the end of fiscal March 31st. So Sony can make their money on selling that title into stores at retail. So we'll see. Although these days, since most things, the majority of sales come through digital, I wonder if that number has to get moved now. Because it used to be that you could say, okay, you can ship your game on March 31st because we'll get the orders delivered by whatever, March 15th, and we'll get paid. We'll get a contract that says we're going to get paid for that. That can go into our bottom line for our investors that we made this much money in fiscal year. But now that over half of sales come from digital, Sony doesn't get that money until the person pulls the trigger at a consumer level. And the other part is Sony makes more money off that because they're not having to cut in GameStop or packaging or any of that stuff. So I wonder if that fiscal, end of year fiscal is still real compared to saying, okay, you can do it, but now it's got to be February versus March. I don't know. It's an interesting. If I was still at Sony, I would love to hear the logic around what the new goalpost is, location is, based on that. Is the Twisted Metal franchise dead or just dead or just dead? I think it's just dead. I think it's a great franchise. I think making a proper Twisted Metal is probably dead. I think making a game one day that has that as a mode is possible. I think a lot of it is going to have to do with if they end up making a TV show. If they don't end up making a TV show, I hope they do something with the property, a graphic novel, some kind of story-based thing. I think it's an absolute wonderful intellectual property. In some ways, it's richer than God of War. Although now with what Corey's done to it, I think it can give it a run for its money because he's advanced it beyond the Greek realm. But I think they should absolutely do something with that. But right now, no, there's nothing going on. Jojo D says, Superman and Lois will arrive on Tuesday, February 23rd. I just want to tell you that the title Superman and Lois is stupid. Think about it. What shall we call our big adventure superhero show? How about the names of the people on the show? What, you mean just call it Superman? Well, no, but it's also about Lois. Okay, how about Superman and Lois? All right, good, let's go home. It's 5 o'clock. I mean, it's terrible. What a dumb fucking name. Metal says, Jaffe, you ever have a game dev you work at Sony hate you? I mean, I can't speak to how they felt about me in terms of it was literal hate, but I drove a lot of people crazy. I drove a lot of people goddamn crazy, for sure. And some of that is like, fuck it, too bad, that's the job. And some of that was I just wasn't as good at my job as a director as I should have been. I'd like to think I'm better these days. I don't think I had many people or anybody hate me, on my last game. But it's a process of learning. But yeah, when I was making God of War, I was never mean, but I do think some people probably thought I was mean, but it wasn't meanness. It was a lack of a filter, not because I was a fucking moron, but because I was very myopic and very focused on the gamer's experience only, right? And I didn't consider it my job. I considered my job to be a job well done if I was like a bull in a china shop where my only goal was to look out for the player. And I would let Shannon, I would let Yumi, I would let Whitney Wade, Yumi Yang and Whitney Wade, they sound like Stan Lee characters. I would let those guys look out for the health of the team, the benefits of the team. If I was pushing too much, they would tell me, hey, you got to back off a little bit, because I wanted to be totally laser focused. And I remember even when, because you have to think about things that if you put that stuff into your brain, it takes away from you being able to think about other things. I'll give you a great example. But first I have to pray to Jah, the God. Please, Jaw, bring me a sign that some... Oh!
You have won my contest. Welcome to my home.
God is real. He is real. He's real, Calypso. You can't tell. Wait, did you hear that? Where did he go? Where did he go? Luke, yo, so-and-so, buddy, thank you so much. Welcome to the Cult of Calypso. Cult of Calypso, you're breathing rarefied air, bitch. I appreciate it, Lukey. Luke Molnar joins the Cult of Calypso. Everybody give him some emoticon. Give Luke some blue waffles. Luke, let me tell you something. You might think, if you don't know what a blue waffle is, I highly recommend you Google it, but make sure you're doing it in private because it's fucking nasty as fuck. Nasty as fuck. But give him some goddamn blue waffles. Come on now. There you go, Connor. Thank you, sir. But the point is, though, Luke, is as a Cult of Calypso member, not only do you get all the benefits of membership, we're doing a game tournament coming up. Cult of Calypso members get double the chances to win the game tournament. I don't know what the prize is going to be yet. We do lunch with Jaffe a couple times a month. Cult of Calypso members can only come to that. God of War members, you're coming to that if you want. We'd love to have you. There's a handful of other bonus perks at that tier as well. Thank you for joining at that tier. And more importantly, thank you for being a part of our community. I appreciate it very goddamn much. Thank you, sir. Now listen to me. Somebody says, Jaffe, why don't you sell this mug? Because I look like a moron. This is a mug that DW made. Right? But he also did this, and he says, and I loved it because it's me doing one of my facial tics, right? But I had a mug printed, and I was just kind of like going, who would want that? So I just discontinued it. So there's a bunch of other mugs over there you can get. Mupo, well, let me get to Shay. Shay drops super chat. Thanks, sir. He says, how come that mug is, well, there you go. How come that mug is now on your merchandise? That's why, Shay. Thank you for the super chat. Mupo says, I'm a Dan and send your plus vibes to Ian on 616. What? Why? What's wrong with Ian? What's going on at 616? Thank you for the super chat, buddy, but is he all right? Is he sick? What do you mean send my positive vibes to Ian? Is something wrong with the guy? I hope not. Make a blue waffle mug. Oh, I'm making a blue waffle. You goddamn right. You goddamn right. I'm making a blue waffle mug. You goddamn right. You goddamn right. I love it. I love it. He has COVID? Oh, man. All right. I'm going to pray. I don't believe in God, but I'm going to pray for Six who has COVID. God, please give me a sign about the COVID. Oh. I heard that Six wasn't feeling too well. Oh no, what's he gonna do? I tell you what, I want you to know that we got ourselves a brand new member of the Diet Soda Soldiers. His name is Ignacio Aber. Oh goddamn, son, where are you from? Where the goddamn Sam Hill you from with a name like that? Do you support our Lord and Savior Donald J. Trump? If you don't, sir, it's time to GTFO, as the boys say. Your name is Ignacio Abayeres. Well, sir, I appreciate you joining. Hang on a second. I'll get a little more. I appreciate you joining, Ignacio. Now, my question to you is very important. Really decide to do, that level of polish on the game. But I think someone like Max or someone even like, Stig back when he was doing art, Yeah, you could absolutely do that, and I very much appreciate the question. That's very interesting. Let's see. Hello, Ignacio. Good to see you, sir. Your name is Palestinian. Okay, cool. God of War 2018 came out around the beginning of the year, so they would have had this is Legionus. God of War 2018, they would have had most of 2018, all of 2019, and 2020, most of 2021. Yeah, I mean, look, we don't really get to know. We don't really get to know, right? I mean, everything that you just said, Legionus, is absolutely valid. But I don't know. I don't know how hard the team was hit with working at home. I don't know, what changes the game has been through. Max may be sitting there working going, you motherfucker, this fucker's coming out in March. I don't know. But all I know is God of War has always, other than maybe the PSP titles, slipped. And not because they are shitty teams, but because the best people want the most time, and it's never done. You have to pry it out of their cold dead hands. And so I'm sure whoever is directing that game, wink, oh, it's over here, wink, God damn it, wink, is going, I don't want to cut that sequence. I want that boss. I want that move. And in that, he or she is going to fight like the Dickens to get their vision, and they should. And that oftentimes, if they are good at their job, leads to an extension because they are compelling in selling the people they need to sell that, look, we need more time to make this the best it can be. The worst thing Sony can do right now is release a God of War that is not up to snuff. I don't mean it's going to be like buggy. It's not going to be bad at all. But I mean, the bar has been set very high. And I think management, I don't know this, but I think management has to know the value of over-delivering on this sequel. Deadshot dropped super chat. I appreciate it, pal. He says, Jaffe, I've been a fan since 04. Pleasure to be here. Deadshot, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. I appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit. There is Deadpool, Deadshot, Deathlock. I always got them all mixed up. Deathlock's the weirdest fucking Marvel character, wouldn't you say? Regardless, Deadshot 254, you're not any of those people. You're just Deadshot 254. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, sir. And thank you very much for the super chats. Very generous. Connor says, I never played any of the new Call of Duties. Just bought Cold War for game night. Oh, nice. Hey, let's check in with that. Let's see. I want to see how my download's going. Let's see where my download's at. I hope I got it done. Yeah, Jaffe, that sounds really fun. I'm really glad I came to your chat today because I really want to look at your fucking download status. Fuck you, man. Can't it ever be about me? Why can't it be about me ever? All right, here we go. Might be done. Let's see. Oh God, no, that's just the, okay. Hang on. Okay, I don't even know what I got. That's called, what is this? I don't want Modern Warfare. I want fucking blobs, baby. Did I get it? Let's see. Because the way they did this is weird. They broke it all up and it's all in different fucking formats and shit. And you can download different parts, but it's not very clear. When I tried to just download the campaign, it wouldn't do it. So, okay, let me skip this shit, you fuck. I don't give a fuck. Come on now. You want to show your teams fucking that they're amazing? Pay them more fucking money. Stop working them so hard. That's how you do it. Don't put fucking credit to the studio. Nobody cares. Okay, hang on. Come on, what is happening? You were connecting to online services. I think this is the game because I've played Warzone before, and that's not this. So I'm going to assume it. I'm going to assume it works. Okay, great, good news. Yeah, I'm excited to play. I did complete God of War. You can actually see that over on what the kids like to call the YouTube, sir. One of my favorite actresses, Kari Walgreen, voiced someone in this game. Oh, nice. I have never heard of her before. Jaffe, isn't sound one of the last things in game production? Yes, but that doesn't mean sound is happening all throughout production, but it starts usually with sounds in your libraries, sounds from previous games, sounds you pull off the internet just to put a placeholder in. And that is being sweetened and improved and changed all throughout the process. So it's not like you're playing for the first, 2.5 years a game with nothing, and then suddenly sound comes in. It literally is here's kind of a rough draft, exceptionally rough, and then it gets improved over the course of multiple years. But yes, the most work happens towards the end, where they are sweetening it and mixing it and fine-tuning it and locking in the gameplay and going, okay, now we know how this attack really works. We need a sound to cue the player that there's a guy behind them doing this attack and things like that. So it absolutely gets more intense at the end. The last thing we did on Twisted Metal, we were up many nights only getting a couple hours of sleep mixing the sound for that game, because sound was absolutely insanely important, even though I don't think we solved it, because most people don't have a great sound setup. I wanted people to be able to tell when weapons and missiles were coming from various directions, and they worked their asses off, but it just couldn't. It was good sound, but there was so much going on with all the vehicles firing and shit that we couldn't ever get it where I really wanted it. But Christopher Gorley drops super chat. He just says Stillskin. I don't know what that is. Is that a person? Or are you just having OCD, sir? I have a little OCD. That's where my twitches come from. But thank you for the super chat. I'll say it again. Don't know what it is, but like Rumpelstiltskin? Stiltskin, he says. Okay. Thank you. Very generous. Appreciate it. Zadkiel says Neil Druckmann is the greatest game director ever. Changed my mind. Why? I don't give a fuck what you think about who the... Good for you, sir. Okay. She was Emma Frost in Wolverine and the X-Men. Oh, okay. So she's done a bunch of voices. This is the actress who's also in Call of Duty. Okay. Oh, Matt, the Wilhelm scream. I hate that fucking thing. Let me tell you why I hate that fucking thing. I hate it because it's one more example of video games envying movies. Everybody, even if you don't know what it is, you've heard it. It's the scream everybody uses, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And they sneak it in their movies. Lucas and Spielberg and all those guys started using it first. It became an in-joke in Hollywood, and then a lot of movies did it for a while, and then suddenly somebody started reporting on it, and film fans learned about it. Okay, so the meme was dead, as the kids say. But the video game industry is like, we want to do that too. And suddenly, that's something in video games. And it's like, guys, if you're gonna have a thing, let's make it our thing. I don't know what it is. Let's get Nintendo's permission to sneak the fucking coin sound of Mario. It's something. But just ripping off Hollywood is one more example about the insecurity of video games when it comes to the goddamn motion picture business. Swamp Nil says, what happened to thanks for the super chat, buddy. He says, what happened to the developers of Sleeping Dogs? I don't know. I want to say that particular company, wasn't that Luxoflux? Wasn't it Luxoflux who did that? Let's look that up. I'm curious. Who did Sleeping Dogs? One moment. I think it was Luxoflux. No, United Front. What am I thinking of? What is the Luxoflux open world game they did? But United Front Games, I think, also went on to do the racing game for Sony with the My Nation Racers. Yeah, they went out of business. I'm sure those people are still working in the industry, just at different places. I want to see what Luxoflux, what was their open world game? They were a developer. True Crime is what they made. Right. Okay. Well, there's your answer, though. They are out of business, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You're getting your wisdom tooth out. Where did that go? Hang on. I'll get to these super chats. Don't worry. Johnny says, I'm getting my wisdom teeth pulled on the 26th. Well, look, you'll be numbed up like a motherfucker. So don't worry about it. It won't hurt. What I will tell you is afterwards, it's very sore. Now, I put on 5-6 pounds. I got my wisdom teeth pulled before I went off to college, summer of '89. And my mama made me chocolate milkshakes, and I must have had 7 or 8 of them a day because they felt so fucking good on my teeth. And like I said, I put 5-10 pounds on, but that is the secret. I will tell you, when you actually get them pulled, it's nothing. They give you gas. You kind of get all loopy, and before you know it, it's done. The only thing I hated about my wisdom teeth being pulled in the process was hearing the crack. When, even though it didn't hurt at all, you could just hear the crunch when they were pulling this shit out. That was disconcerting. But no, it was not painful at all. But it was absolutely sore afterwards. But again, that's an easy solve. Get some milkshakes, you'll be good. Probably Flea Guy. Somebody's saying, should we ban him? I see that Rob deleted his message. I will leave it up to Robert the Moderate. If Rob or Bukaki thinks, or Inky or RPG thinks that he or she or whatever they are has done something problematic, then ban the fuck out of him. I'm not paying attention to what he wrote. Keith drops super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, Jaffe, what are your thoughts on cheat codes and them not being in games anymore? Some games are better with good stats at the beginning and not the end. I mean, first off, make no mistake. Cheat codes are absolutely in games. You just don't know about them. There were cheat codes like big head mode and infinite ammo mode and all that stuff. Those are no longer in fashion, and I understand it because most of that was multiplayer. It's like infinite weapons, infinite armor, respawning health, whatever. You don't want to take that online and basically spam and cheat your way through the game. As for single player, I just think the games have gotten that are single player, most of them have gotten less gamey. So the idea of God of War suddenly having a cheat code that you could, Kratos never gets hurt. I could see that just feeling a little off brand at this point. But I mean, that's my take on it. The only thing I really know is Twisted Metal Black almost had a delay. I was so pissed off. It was, we were done. I mean, I think we were out of beta. We were in certification, or we were about to go to certification. And the QA department discovered a cheat code that I didn't know about, that the team had put in, that let the cars fly. And so if you enter the cheat code, you could literally get vertical with your vehicle and fly around like a goddamn airplane. And the testers at first were like, isn't this funny? Isn't this great? And I was like, it's really cool, but this is going to be a real fucking problem. Because if you're sitting there playing split screen or online with your buddy and they know this cheat code and they start to lose, it's the equivalent of playing, when you were a little kid and somebody was losing at a board game and they threw the board game up in the air because they didn't want to lose. And I was like, we can't have that in the game. If that gets discovered, it's going to totally break multiplayer. And so thank God, my boss at the time allowed me to kind of put our foot down and say, no, we have to resubmit. This has to get taken out. So, they can be challenging and problematic if you don't know about them. But I think that's probably what happened to the cheat codes. Wow. Prolly guy got banned by Rob. I want to know what he said. Was there a character, says Johnny, thank you for the super chat, that you flat out didn't like that somehow ended up in Twisted Metal? I loved all the characters. I didn't like any of... that's not true. I did not like any, but there were a lot of characters in the games I didn't work on that I did not like at all. But no, they're all like your kids, basically, I would say. Certain vehicles didn't get as tuned as well. Like it was really hard to make, the, dark side drive like a semi and still be playable. And so there were certain vehicles that I never picked. I wanted them thematically in the game, but I was never happy with how some of the bigger cars drove, because you had to make them, in order to make them competitive, you had to make them so armored and damaging with ramming in order to make up for their horrible handling. And yeah, you could play the game that way, but most people rarely pick that car. Most people we found pretty much picked the middle of the road cars because they drove the best and they could hold their own in a fight. And so, I don't know what that means, Henry Studio. Tommy Tallarico said in a Reviews on the Run video that you and him are buds and let him play as the ogre. I don't know what that means, man. Hang on a sec. Jaffe, we need Helios's head as an emote, Amon. When we get some more members, I'm up to the max. Either if I refresh the emotes or we get a handful of more members. That's the way YouTube does it. When you get a certain threshold of members, they unlock more emotes. So when they get refreshed or I add more, I will put that in there if I think it fits. All the emotes are always obnoxiously probably overthought through in terms of what emotes we have. Okay. Okay, then you made Talon later, Metallic says. Yeah, in Twisted Metal 2012, because that was planned from the beginning. We knew that he had weaker armor. We knew that he had negatives to being up in the air. We knew that you could bring him down with one freeze missile or one EMP or whatever we called it, and you could ram him, and his ability to deflect a ram was nothing. And so it was balanced. But imagine having the best car in Twisted Metal Black, which I don't know, it depends on who you are. But imagine having a vehicle like Darkseid that can fly and has tons of armor. I mean, it would be unstoppable, man. It would be absolutely unstoppable. Zadkill says, did you know Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet can be equipped by Kratos in God of War 2018? You can use it to shoot homing missiles. It's epic. I don't believe you. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I know God of War, from the very first one, we've put him in wacky costumes, and maybe they do that in 2018. I don't know. But I don't guarantee you, but I would be stunned if you're right about the Infinity Gauntlet. Maybe they do have a gauntlet, and maybe it has a passing resemblance, but I know Sony legal, and it ain't the Infinity Gauntlet unless Sony paid for it. And if Sony paid for it, you would have heard, it would have been in the press. It would have been like, hey, we're doing a deal. I'm okay being wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're full of shit. I love you, but you're full of shit. The band guy was trying to write the N word. Oh God. Oh, I know Rob made the right call. He always does. I was just curious. When you say they are like your kids, you mean as in Biden to Bo or Donald to Eric? Biden to Bo. Donald to Eric is probably not a very loving father, sir. Deadshot drops super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, where'd it go? He says, I loved watching the behind the scenes videos you could unlock in God of War. So it's cool little extras and a great sense of achievement. Thank you for that. I'll tell you, we got that because at the time, DVDs were absolutely ruling the roost. Everybody loved the DVDs and all the extras that you could get on the DVDs. And we were like, we should do more of that in video games. And that's kind of where it came from. I appreciate that. All right, listen, fellas. I hope you had a good time chatting today. I always worry about where these free chats will go because the worst cases, they're only interesting to me and the person whose question that I'm answering. So I try to pick questions that everybody will enjoy. I hope you guys had a good time hanging out, but we're going to wrap it. And here's why we're going to wrap it. It's not going to be 6. It's going to be 6:30. That's the goddamn truth. I got to take a walk, get a little exercise. So at 6:30 tonight, Pacific time, we are doing game night. And we are doing a little bit of Call of Duty Cold War multiplayer. And then we are going to swap over to Wreckfest. Now, Call of Duty, if you have it, is multi-platform. You can play it on whatever the fuck you want. You'll be good. Wreckfest is only on PlayStation 4 and 5. So it is on sale. It's a great fucking fun racing game. It's like a demolition derby game. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun. You can get it for under $20 right now on sale at PlayStation. And they're also, you don't need all the season passes and shit. Just get the core game. So that's coming up tonight at 6:30 Pacific time. This weekend on Sunday, we are doing a double feature for members only. We're going to do Evil Dead. And then we're going to do the first one, which I've never seen. And then we're going to do Battle Royale, the Japanese version. There's subtitles, so if you can't read, probably not a good idea. That will be Sunday. I don't know if it's a movie night, movie afternoon. I'll let you guys know in the weekend when we get the title set up. But there you go. Let me get the last super chat of the day. Thank you so much, Jay Songs. Jay Song says, how do you feel about Kratos' brother? I mean, I have sympathy for him. The whole Mark Anderson, let me just tell you the story. Mark Anderson was the art director on the first God of War for a while. And then, you know, he and I don't think we had an emotional falling out, but we just came to a place where I don't think we could really work together on that game. It was kind of like creative differences. Good guy, and he was on the game till the end, if I recall. A really talented guy. Now he's like out somewhere. He like makes swords and does like blacksmith shit. He's amazing. Really talented fellow. But anyway, he brought me in a video that he watched on PBS, and he was like, did you know that in Sparta, they train these kids to be warriors as children? And when they went around and they found kids that were not up to snuff, they put them in these cages and they drive them. They put them they put the cages on buggies or whatever, and they took them out into the woods, and they basically left them to fend for themselves. And if they made it back, which they rarely, if ever, did, they're like, okay, you're a survivor, you're in. But most of them, they assumed, and they were right in assuming this, were going to die out in the woods, and they did. And that was where we said, oh my God, that would be a great way to set Kratos on his path for cracking, that he was very close to his brother, and he ended up being strong, and his brother ended up being the weak one, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that, you know, so I love that part of the story. I don't know if I ever played, which game had him in it? Wasn't it one of the PSP games that had the brother Dominus or something in it? Jorge says that's actually contested by historians. Most agree that was only done to adult criminals. Yeah, I got it off a PBS special that Mark brought in. It was called The Greeks. It was on PBS. I still have the DVD because I never gave it back to him. Not because I was stealing it. I just always forgot. And then he ended up moving. And it may have been in 300 as well, Joe. I've only seen that movie once. I liked it. But I don't remember it from there. I remember it from the documentary. It was in Ghost of Sparta. Okay, cool. All right, so fellas, did I get everybody's chats? I did. So listen, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the mods to Bukaki, Inky, Rob, and RPG. Appreciate it. Thank you for the conversation. It's been fun. I hope you had a good time. If I don't see you this week, if I don't see you tonight, remember game nights tonight. Anyone can play. Members get first seating, but anybody can play. Anybody can watch. That's coming up at 6:30 in just an hour and a half or so. Sunday's double feature for movies for the members, and then Monday we're back to normal Gabbing and Games around 3:30, or maybe 6. I haven't figured out the new time yet. But there you go, and take it easy, be safe. I hope who was it who said that they thought they might have COVID? Well, Rob thinks he has COVID. Rob, hope you're feeling better. And 6, if you're out there watching, take care, be safe, feel better, sir. See you.